Hello and kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday weather update as we track severe weather across Australia and New Zealand. Sort of the same setup with wind and rain, although it's coming from two different systems. On the wind map, you can see high pressure to the northeast of New Zealand. People in Dunedin and Otago this morning wondering why it was so mild. Your airflow was coming out of the north and down, and now it's coming out of Australia and moving in towards you as well as a west to northwest wind. So either way, that's a fairly mild wind direction. And then over in Australia, the big storm down here in the Southern Ocean driving severe gales for the next few days ahead across the southern coastline all the way towards Victoria and Tasmania, and then on towards New Zealand as it falls apart. So let's get into the forecast. Here we are with some severe weather. We're taking a look at the wind maps for Australia. Look at these big strong gusts in Western Australia, South Australia. We're talking about over 100, 120 kilometres an hour in some coastal areas. And right through the next 48 hours, this is going to move right along and towards Adelaide. Over in New Zealand, the same story. We've got windy weather as well. Big strong gusts coming through today, similar speeds, around that 80 to 120 kilometre an hour range. Most of those big gusts, though, will be up in the Southern Alps and through Cook Strait. The further north you are, the lighter the winds will be across your Tuesday. Now, taking a look at rain, we've got both Australia and New Zealand as well with some rain accumulation maps. 72 hours from today, look at these big totals. These areas the other day were around -7, -8. Really cold stuff. Now you've got heavy rain on the way with maybe 50 to 80 millimetres of rain, which is quite a bit, maybe even a bit more the further south you go, and fairly heavy rain brushing the coastlines towards the south as well. And then over in New Zealand for the next 48 hours, just a little bit of a shorter window, but big totals on the west coast, although the good news is that's where it's supposed to be. The geography on this side of the country can handle quite a lot of rain without incident, whereas the eastern side, you have half that amount, and the next thing you know, half of the eastern South Island's flooded and roads are closed. So this one shouldn't be too much of a problem for most places, but there could be over 125, 150 millimetres coming. That is getting up quite a bit for just a 48-hour period. The good news for the North Island, for those sick of the rain, not as much coming for you. Okay, let's take a look at the forecast now. So here we are for Wednesday. This big area of low pressure split in half, keeping that windy weather going all the way along the coastline from Perth to Adelaide to Melbourne to Hobart. Now over in New Zealand, we're only just caught up in the very edges of it for the southern part of New Zealand on Wednesday. Nothing really too significant, a few showers in there, and that mild westerly flow out of Australia that carries on for the lower South Island. Now by Thursday, that wind flow starts to really pick up because of this large stormy area with all these severe gales brushing the coastlines, and then it spreads over to the New Zealand area with a very narrow area of high pressure over the top of us. But just to the north, we've got this other area of low pressure to keep an eye on. For now, hopefully not a problem and should stay out at sea. So as we get to the end of this week on Friday, the high's pretty much over the North Island. Mild northwest winds from Queensland coming down over the South Island, so it's not going to feel like the depths of winter. Not yet. That's coming in another day or two from this map. But you see here on Friday, you've got those nor'westers coming through, the rain on the west coast, low pressure pushing now down past Adelaide, Melbourne, and moving towards Tasmania. So as we go into the weekend, look at this big change in the South Island from those warm nor'westers on Saturday to very cold southerlies coming through. Sorry, the warm nor'westers on Friday, the very cold southerlies on Saturday, and that's why you're going to see those temperatures dropping, but it's still mild in the North Island, and that front weakens as it moves up and towards that high pressure. That's a big high to the north up there. So this front is weakening, windy on Saturday once again, but it's not as stormy as it could be. And the low around Australia, around Victoria and Tasmania, now finally starting to fall apart. But even here on Sunday, it's sort of trapped between two highs, so it's not going to get a lot deeper or bigger, but it's still there. So you've still got colder air kind of stuck in the middle with that low circulating. And on the New Zealand side, those wintry southerlies, they move further up the North Island. Mount Ruapehu likely to get a dusting of snow later on Sunday. They haven't had very much this year. And the last thing to talk about, there's a big high in the middle of Australia there coming through behind all of this. So it's an unsettled period of weather, that's for sure, but the windy westerlies, they are the main feature for the next few days ahead. And then, of course, that wintry southerly arriving at the weekend. That is all from me. Thanks for all the comments and questions on YouTube. Thanks for the donations as well. Really appreciate all the support we're getting on YouTube. Thank you so much for everybody following us and supporting us there. It means a great deal to us. We're back again tomorrow, Wednesday, with our next update.